Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com here with another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique, and it is sponsored by Adorama Picks. It's where I get my hardback books printed, as well as other prints when I need it. And by the way, they do ship worldwide for you guys overseas. So let's get into this rapid fire critique. I've really enjoyed doing these, just seeing 10 pictures and just critiquing them on my own. It's great to have the other people involved, but sometimes it's harder to give the actual critique, because like I say each week, or like I've been saying, is that when you give what you consider your 10 best pictures to, say, a client, you do not get to sit there and say, oh yeah, this picture was taken and this is what I was going for, and you don't get a chance to explain it. Even when you're there and showing, here, this is a good tip. When you're there and you're showing somebody a portfolio, do not interrupt them unless they ask a question. You don't want to sit there and go, yeah, and by the way, this picture was taken here, and this is what I was thinking here. Let the photos speak for themselves. If they have a question, then go into detail about it, and then it starts a cool conversation. So here, the photographer is Lars Yelling, and he shot this with a Canon 40D and 80-400. I believe that's a 6.3 lens all the way out at the end. So this is kind of a photo story. As I've gone through, it's what's this, curling? Rowboating? Curling? It's not rowboating, it's much quicker than that. So there's 10 images here from, I guess, an event that he went to and photographed. And, this is where it starts. So this is a cool shot. Obviously, the guys are celebrating something at the end, or are just at the beginning where they're saying, hey, good luck, let's go, let's make this work. What I look at here is the background. The composition is great. I don't know if it's cropped or not, but when you're shooting at 6.3, which is what the lens, lets you shoot out at 400, it doesn't separate the subjects from the background as well. But the framing is great. The exposure is right on. It's tweaked very well. Is it the most grabbing image of all? No, but as a part of the story, we're going to see how it progresses. Some of the shots to try to look for here, the guys like cheering, the girls cheering at the end, like, throwing their arms up that they did something, or if somebody gets hurt, the agony of defeat always makes for an interesting photo. So let's move on to the next one and see what we've got. So we've got one from an uber-duper distance. Excuse me, as I yawn. Tired. It's difficult from a distance. I think this shot may be one to artistically throw out there in black and white. It may carry more interest if you just take it the other direction, make it really contrasty, make it really pop, because with him centered right in the middle of the frame, it's a little boring from this distance. And I know it's difficult to shoot things out in the water. That's why Lars is using a 400mm. So I'm not saying that he's done anything wrong. I'm just pointing out things that could be done a little different in the future, or things that you guys can think about to see and learn from these images. So it's okay. It's part of the story for the day. I think a black and white would be really classy in this case and look really good. This, I really like to see what's going on. So we can see that I believe there's a crop to be had here, or there is a crop that was had here, but this is great. Look at how everybody blows out as they go far away. This is using some creative techniques, shooting low across the starting line or across where everybody's going to be rowing, and it's really cool because look at the leading lines, how it draws you in and through the image. You start here with this kid right here. Oh, and it's probably later in the afternoon. We have that nice golden light. I always say the golden hour. The last hour or so in the day is one of the best times to capture images because the light is so thick. It's so contrasty. Gives you really great images. I may have pumped up the contrast in this shot a little bit, but that's just me, of course, because I like to go boomify with my contrast. But I really like this because during an event like this, you can shoot all the guys rowing, or you could look for other things going on, like the paddles, the rowers, muscles. Like that's one that you could focus in on people's muscles. Yeah, that's right. So just something a little different. Always remember this when you're at an event. There's more going on than just what's happening in front of you. So if they're rowing, there's more going on. There's coaches on the shore. There's coaches on the boats. There's muscles. Look for people's muscles. There's equipment just laying there. There's early morning when you get there and everybody's just walking in with their jumpsuits on and they've got they're carrying the boats out because I've seen them carry these schooners, whatever they're called. I'm yawning again. We'll carry these scooters. So there's always other things to look for. So really like this image, like the composition. We have a creative crop here. If you find that that's making your image stronger, then by all means do whatever you want to do when it comes to cropping. My personal preference is I don't crop my work, but that doesn't mean that you can't if it works for you and if the image calls for it. So the focus right here is on this guy. I can see probably why he's cropped this is because the background may have been distracting, taking you away from the image. Again, I would try some creative black and whites here. The colors are okay, but there's nothing going like uber duper fantastically poppy. Uber duper fantastically poppy. I like that one. Uber duper fantastically poppy. I can't even try to say that 5 times fast. Uberly duberly fasterly. I've already lost it. But yeah, try a creative black and white. I think it would really make a strong story with this image. All right, so now we've got the ladies rowing. I like that we've got what we've got here. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the boat, or maybe her arms holding on to the rower thingies, aka paddles probably. I would have liked to have seen that, but this again is looking at a different angle, playing with your depth of field, getting the whole boat in there. So, you know, it's close. Maybe it's a little too tight in this case, that a front shot of the boat, if it was capable at this time, I don't know if he was too close or whatnot, but you know, shooting a little close, a little wider, may have given you her arms and holding on to the oars and stuff, and then focusing on the way of the boat going out of focus could have been a cool, strong image. So, okay, we're getting closer to that. In this case, I would have moved down. Possibly a horizontal would have been interesting to get all these guys' heads there, but maybe I'm wrong about that now that I think about it. But a lower angle, getting the yeller, I don't know what they call that person. The person that sits there goes, row, 1, 2, 3, row. I don't know what they're called. Somebody help me. What are they called? But a lower angle, getting this front guy's hands in focus or in the frame, I think would have been strong and really good there. I like this angle again. Here, it looks like he's literally in a boat or right up against the shore. I don't mind that everything is in focus from front to back. This is shot really wide. I like that you can see everything. It shows you that there's something going on. There's a lot of people here. Again, maybe try some black and white to create some interest, more interest, added interest. Black and white sometimes does that, so keep that in mind. This is what I'm talking about. Great shot. This one works in color. High shutter speed is freezing the water. You can do that outside, so make sure your shutter speed's like 1,000th of a second or more. Most cameras will do 8,000th of a second. And then you'll capture shots like this. This is great, focusing in on the oars in the water. This is a great additional shot to a great photo story. So always look for the other things going on, not just the people. There's always things behind the scenes. There's people in the crowd. There's the judges. There's the finish line. All different things like that. So here's a finish line shot, and this one is kind of. This is where a 2.8 lens or like something like a 200 f2 would really make this image strong, because what is distracting about this, I got a person here, I got a person lounging here, I got all these bikes here, and here's the thrill. We've got victory, but we're losing the victory because the background is so in focus. Not sure what this white line is here, but that's interesting. So I kind of don't see these people over here cheering because I'm drawn right into the out of focus background. What may save this is black and white. Black and white may save this, but that out of this not being really blown out and separated takes away from the image. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's a nice try. It's a nice shot. I like what you're going for, trying something in the composition, but actually I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right now. A creative crop. If you came in and did that same horizontal crop like this, threw it in the black and white, you have a killer shot. So yes, a crop here will save this image. Finish it off, crop it here, boom. I think that will save it and be good to go. So this looks like it's the last image. This looks like the finish line. I can't really tell. I don't think this is one of the strongest images in the set. It's just too It's just not grabbing me. But there are strong images in this set, and Lars is doing a great job. Exposures are great all day, but don't be afraid to go black and white and because it will add interest sometimes to shots that may not be as interesting as they could be. So work on that. Think about that, all you guys out there. And you know what? In cases like this, if a creative crop would do well, then by all means, go ahead and do a creative crop. Throw it in there, do it, make the image better, and learn from that crop, and try to replicate it later when you're shooting the next thing that you're shooting. So I really enjoyed this again. It's really fun to see these images that you guys are sending in, whether it's a photo story or what you consider your 10 best, just all around. I love photo stories because that's what I like to shoot. But yeah, I really like this. Just take all those tips. Everybody out there, try to see if you can associate it with what you're doing, and that's about it. If you want to send in your best 10 photos, I prefer a Flickr link to, a Flickr link with your best 10 photos. Put them in a set so that, I think that, yeah, they call them sets, so that the 10 that you have are in there. If you send me a photo stream, there's more than 10 images, and it makes it more difficult to review. So that's it. You can send them to fronosphoto@gmail.com. Use the subject line, Adorama Rapid Fire Critique. And I want to thank Adorama one more time for sponsoring these rapid fire videos. So that is it. See you next week. Jared Poland, fronosphoto.com. See ya.